The Dallas Cowboys have been trying to hide this from us, so we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Dallas Cowboys news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Dallas Cowboys are signing 3 big free agents and are trying to hide this from the NFL. We're just a few weeks away from the Dallas Cowboys opening training camp. By this stage in the offseason, NFL teams have been able to assess their rosters a bit further and better understand the makeup of their team heading into the season and, in some cases, beyond. Around this time of the year up to the start of the season, NFL clubs commonly announce extensions with players in the final years of their contracts. The Cowboys have historically done just that, signing summer deals with Dez Bryant and Zach Martin, to name a few. Keeping up with the tradition of what the Cowboys might do in the coming weeks, here are 3 players the Cowboys need to offer new contracts to before the season. The Cowboys should be proactive and sign Terrence Steele as soon as possible. Steele's career got off to an uneven start, finding himself in a starting role as an undrafted rookie in 2020. Steele has come a long way. It was controversial when the team opted to have Steele compete with La'el Collins for playing time in 2021, and subsequently release Collins in favor of Steele the next offseason. Still, the Cowboys were ultimately proven right for their decision. Steele has slowly rounded into a formidable run-blocking right tackle with good technique. After signing his exclusive rights tenders, Steele is back with the team for 2023. Dallas unearthed yet another gem in the undrafted market, and would be silly not to see the full potential of Steele's progress by choosing not to re-sign him. Of course, there are concerns about Steele's health in his return from an ACL injury late last season, but that shouldn't be a firm deterrent for the Cowboys. That could be advantageous in regards to negotiating a new contract. While Steele has looked ahead of schedule in his recovery, it's no sure thing he'd be back immediately to his old self. What Dallas could do is very similar to what they did when they signed former safety Barry Church to a long-term deal while in recovery from injury. They could approach Steele with a front-loaded contract that protects the team in the rear portion of the agreement should something go awry. It'll be pricey, but let's say the Cowboys offer 4 years, $48M, with $30M paid to Steele in the first 2 seasons, and the option to walk away from the contract after the second year. The Cowboys should re-sign Tyler Biadasz because, despite him going into his 4th season, he's still an ascending player. Last season, he found a new peak in his performance and was deservedly recognized by the fans and his peers, and was named to his first career Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl nod served as vindication for a player that was somewhat polarizing among the fans on whether or not he was a worthwhile option. Remember, heading into the 2022 draft, there were loud overtures for the team to select center Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa with their first pick over Tyler Smith to replace Biadasz. Biadasz answered the call and has reaffirmed himself to be in consideration as a part of the future of the Cowboys' offensive line. While Biadasz has emerged as an above-average center, the market for the position isn't too expensive. Philadelphia Eagles center Jason Kelce is the league's highest paid at $14.25 million annually. Let's assume Biadasz gives the Cowboys a hometown discount. The Cowboys realistically could offer him for 4 years, $44M, $11M APY, which isn't too unreasonable. By now, many have come around to the notion that heavy investments in running backs often lead to disappointment and denial when the said investment is no longer fruitful. The most recent example was the Cowboys seeing Ezekiel Elliott decline before parting ways with the former 4th overall pick 4 years into a 6-year $90M deal. However, the Cowboys hold the upper hand regarding this situation with Pollard. While there's no mistaking Pollard's talent and explosive running, he is recovering from an injury, and the landscape for what running backs demand contractually has shifted. As was the case for Biadasz, Pollard price comes down to the market and the position he plays. Pollard's counterparts, Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, have yet to secure extensive contracts with their respective clubs. Like Pollard, both were offered the franchise tender for running backs, with neither choosing to sign in the hopes of securing a big payday with their teams. In Pollard's case, there is mutual interest for both sides to agree, and it's a matter of Pollard wanting the security that the running back market currently doesn't offer. Pollard is 26 years old, and hopefully the Cowboys have learned from their mistake of providing a running back with an unusually long contract as they did with Ezekiel Elliott. The team should sign Pollard to 3 years, $27M contract with $18M guaranteed. The second story is the Dallas Cowboys have found a replacement for Ezekiel Elliott. Anyone tired of the Ezekiel Elliott discourse yet? Training camp is just a few weeks away, and Elliott is still looking for a new home after the Dallas Cowboys released him with a post-June 1 designation back in March. Every time Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy, or another prominent executive have spoken to reporters, they've been asked about Elliott's future. That won't change until Elliott signs somewhere. Jones has preached that the ship hasn't sailed on Elliott returning to Dallas on a cheaper deal, but team insiders understand there's been no contact from either side in that regard. That could change as we get closer to training camp, but the Cowboys should be shopping for alternatives in the event Zeke lands somewhere else. While the Dalvin Cook ship has all but set sail, Cook's former general manager in Minnesota, Rick Spielman, now with the 33rd team, believes the Cowboys should give a long look at free agent Kareem Hunt to fill the Elliott void. Spielman is actually of the mindset that Elliott will re-sign with Dallas. If that doesn't happen, though, he thinks Dallas should make a run at Hunt. Hunt's touches decreased with the Browns, but he's still a powerful runner with excellent vision to catch the ball out of the backfield. He had some durability issues last season, so he'll need to show he can stay healthy because he turns 28 in August. Hunt is an excellent number 2 back if he can stay healthy. The former Vikings general manager makes some good points, though his concerns about Hunt's durability are overblown. Calf and ankle injuries limited Hunt to 8 games in 2021, but he's played 2 full seasons in the last 3 years. The former third-round pick has been durable for most of his career, and he's on the younger side for a soon-to-be 28-year-old running back, having served as Nick Chubb's backup in Cleveland for the last 4 years. In terms of running style, Hunt is an ideal profile to deploy behind Tony Pollard. Like Elliott, Hunt rushes to contact. Despite logging 108 fewer carries than Elliott in 2022, Hunt finished with 3 fewer explosive runs and 8 fewer forced missed tackles. Hunt also averaged more yards after contact per attempt than Elliott. Hunt isn't a perfect runner, to say nothing of his history with domestic violence, but short of signing Dalvin Cook, the Cowboys would be hard-pressed to find a better all-around running back on the current market. Dak Prescott has been through the peaks and valleys of his career. While the Dallas Cowboys essentially built a team around him, the 2-time Pro Bowler has come close to the big goal at the end of the season, but not quite there yet. He's starting to feel the pressure to win. 1,000%, he said on Saturday when asked about the urgency of his career. Just understanding injuries and what I've been through throughout my career, and understanding that you don't have forever to play this game. I'm blessed for every moment that I get, just trying to take it with a sense of urgency. He's more than capable to take his team all the way, and perhaps the addition of Brandon Cooks will help with his deep speed this season. With Prescott's blowing out 30 candles on his next birthday cake, it got him thinking about his career. And life, really. I've always felt older, I guess. Just being 30 doesn't necessarily bother me, Prescott added. Knowing that I am the old guy, going into year 8, seeing some of the young guys, some of the rookies, and seeing the difference in 8 years, it's fun and challenging at times, knowing that I stay connected and stay in the now with what's cool and whatnot. But this game is beautiful. It doesn't matter how old you are because you play this game like a kid. Owner Jerry Jones is still feeling the sickening loss to end their season. Prescott felt it too. He said he needs to be better. His accolades possess many honorary feats, but not a Super Bowl championship. He's reached the postseason 4 times, but that's not going to be good enough. The third story is Brandon Cooks is the secret weapon for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys' acquisition of receiver Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans was seen by most as a good piece of business. But now on his 5th team, there is a narrative building around Cooks that he isn't the difference maker the Cowboys need him to be. There isn't much love coming for Cooks this offseason, and as such, CBS Sports has named the receiver as the Cowboys' most underappreciated player. Just because he's bounced around the league doesn't mean Cooks isn't a good player, CBS Sports writes. Cooks has 6 1,000-yard seasons in his career, 4 of which have come with different teams. He'll be facing number 2 cornerbacks in 2023, so the production and efficiency should go up. Dak Prescott is also a better quarterback than any signal caller Cooks has caught passes from since 2020. So another 1,000-yard season may be on the horizon. Cooks, who turns 30 in September. Cooks also has a cap number of just $6 million in 2023, has a year remaining on his contract after that, and came here in exchange for just a 5th round and a 6th round pick. CBS writes, The Cowboys have Cooks on a bargain, and we view that as indisputable. So why doesn't everybody see it that way? Some will look at his previous season with the Texans and think that Cooks was nothing more than solid. But it is important to remember that Davis Mills was his quarterback last year who, like Dak Prescott, led the league in interceptions with 15. Besides, last season, while Cooks could only play 13 games and registered 699 yards and 3 touchdowns, had he played all 17 regular season games and made his baseline average yards per game, 58.3, he would have ended with 913 yards. It's also worth noting that Cooks played the least amount of offensive snaps, 685, since his rookie season.